What's up, everybody? Welcome to the PixelPlay Podcast. My name is Adam, a.k.a. CS Radical. Joined, as always, Chris, a.k.a. Jin and Chris. Kaylan, a.k.a. Catastrophe. We got a lot to talk about, and by a lot to talk about, I mean, look, I'm not gonna, flex a little bit here, but, Kaylan and I is now members of the gaming press.
We're the media. We made it.
Dang it.
Look, now, this is what happens when you go on vacation, Chris. You miss out on getting your press credentials.
This is true.
Which we did not anticipate getting when Kaylan put in the request for press passes at the Toronto Game Expo this year. But
Speak for yourself. I knew.
Well, and Troy Baker's still coming on the show, right?
We're working on it.
Oh, I forgot about that.
His people, my people are talking to his people, so.
So you're talking to...
I'm talking to him. He's not talking to me.
Yeah.
That's the one hurdle you have to get over. He's not returning my calls.
You're like, I just don't know who his people are.
I still need to figure out who.
We're still working on that part. But yeah, no, Kayla and I, because Chris was on vacation, we ended up going to the Toronto Game Expo, which was last weekend. We managed to get press passes actually to go in there, so we got to go a little bit earlier than most, and actually had to hang out with a few of the different indie developers that were there, which was a really cool experience. Chris and I, we've been there before. But, it was really packed. It was also a much smaller venue the last time we went there. You couldn't really do a lot of talking because you couldn't really do anything without getting pushed over. So, to be able to get there and actually have, we had some, 10-minute conversations with people that you would not normally have gotten. So, it was a pretty interesting thing. We'll talk a lot about that there. But first, I need to say something. I need to clear some air.
Uh-oh.
I just want people to know that I am aware that I don't run the Game Awards. I just want people to know this.
Wait, you're not Jeff Keighley?
I know, guys, that I don't actually run the Game Awards. So for those who had to tell me that, thank you. I didn't know that before, but now I know.
Well, now I feel like a fool. I told Troy Baker that Jeff Keighley was one of the hosts in disguise as Adam CS Radical.
I mean, look, I can't even put a good voice on. I can get a bag of Doritos and a bottle of Mountain Dew. I can do that. That's something that's possible.
Yes, you can.
I just love the fact that look, and I know it's a 1 minute short, so the whole episode doesn't go in that clip. But I love that people took me saying Silksong shouldn't be a Game of the Year nominee as being it's the worst game ever, and I should be you should be ashamed as a gamer to play it, because that's exactly what I said.
I mean, that's how game culture works. You're either the greatest or
right?
Garbage.
Yeah, you're 100 to 0.
Yeah.
No.
And look, and I know some people handle this shit differently, but I can't help but laugh that people seem to think that they're getting to me or trying to criticize me, and I'm going, we're a channel of 300 subs. I don't care.
Whoa, hang on. 309. 309.
Yeah, sorry, 309.
Subs.
Apparently, me being a dick about Silksong actually is a good thing, so I should probably just start talking shit about everybody's favorite games more.
Yeah, that's right. Spite subscribe.
Right?
I think that may have happened to about 9 people.
To be fair,
it's a hate subscribe.
One of my favorite YouTubers as a Toronto Maple Leafs sports fan is Steve Dangle, and he gets double the views when the Leafs lose. So maybe that's the logic. Maybe we should just be rage baiting constantly and doing spite videos, and that way it's going to get all the views.
Wait, you've not been doing that?
Yeah, wait, have you been praising?
These are just been your actual opinions?
Yeah. We know this. I am the bad opinions guy. Sometimes the bad opinions are right. That's the thing about the truth sometimes, guys.
I thought it was a bit.
I wish it was a bit. Then I could say I'm a good actor. I'm not a good actor. I have the worst poker face on the fucking planet.
Yeah.
So when I'm saying something and I don't look like I'm having a shit-eating grin, no, I'm fucking mean it. But Chris, how was your vacation? Tell everybody what you did.
It was good. On my vacation, I went to Montreal and Quebec City for a bit. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, a lot of walking, a lot of looking at stuff, and a lot of
How much protein did you eat?
A fair bit, actually. It happened a few times. I was only there
as you should
5 days, I think, total. So we did 2 days at one, 2 days at another.
And the real important thing, how is Schwartz's? Because I've heard a lot of good things about that deli.
It's so good. The only thing I've ever had that kind of compares is I can't remember the name. There was a deli I had in New York I went to once, very similar in the sense.
Probably would have been Katz's.
Actually, I think that's it. Yeah, I think that's the one.
Because Katz's is the big one in New York that most people will say.
Same idea. These things have been around for so long that it's they've been making sandwiches that long. Yeah, you know what you're doing. Don't hold back. But yeah, it was really, really good. Though I'm sad I missed last week's episode. Like, as the Steam guy, I missed the Steam Machine discussion.
It was great. We were talking about the Game Awards, and we were talking about Steam Machine. I'm like, this was the only thing that could have made it better is if a Chrono release finally came out.
Yeah, like how the episode, like I'm Steam. I am Steam. Like, why wasn't I a part
Apparently
of this
not, because you just decided to up and ditch them.
Yeah, frick.
I mean, I'm liking this pattern though. Maybe like when I leave next week, Splinter Cell is going to get announced as like with a release date or something. Imagine.
That would be funny, but we already agreed that because you're not going to be with us when we stream the Game Awards, that's going to be where it is.
Yeah,
Whatever.
Also
I don't care.
I was going to say, you're not going to care that much if you get it.
I don't care how the sausage is made.
But
Which
yeah.
also, to put an addendum on that too, well, it doesn't look like we were having a good conversation because it doesn't sound like it's going to be a cheap console now either.
No, I'm not happy
So
about
we throw
that.
most of that episode out the window already.
Like the PlayStation 5 here in Canada is on sale for like $520 for Black Friday. I've seen it a couple places. Steam Machine needed to be that price. If it's going to be like $800,
US,
like
I would say yes. Canadian, I'd still think that'd be like that would have been like the 400 US tag that we were talking about last week, and I'm like that was already a pretty high crapshoot.
Has to be the same price.
Yeah.
It can't. It has to be that if I'm at Walmart, EB Games, whatever, and I'm looking at both.
Yeah.
I'm not looking at price. It's just which one do I want.
Yeah,
it
just
should
to
be-
reinforce what we said from last week. Like as soon as that thing starts at above $600 US, you've already lost.
Yeah, if you can get a PlayStation cheaper, because the thing is the Steam Machine, free online, free cloud saves, all that stuff. But people aren't thinking about that the moment they're buying the
but
machine.
that's
They're
why the
just seeing its
600 is the
initial
cutoff
price.
point for that like 512 gigabyte
Exactly.
one.
Yeah.
Because 600 for that machine is still going to be expensive, but when you factor in the better shop deals and not having to pay to play online, that adds up for there. The
100%.
second that it goes above that, that's where you like if it's 700 to start,
Yeah.
and I'm talking US, that you've lost me.
Yeah, it sucks. Like, I mean, I wasn't going to get the Steam Machine anyways, only because my PC is more powerful and already hooked up to my TV, so I'd be downgrading to get it. But
If
like,
I didn't have my old backup PC now connected to my other TV, but my initial thought was that would have been great for my television in the main living room. But now now it's not an option to me at all.
I think there'll be another Steam Machine. Like, they'll do something. Like, I feel like if it doesn't do well, they're going to either lower the price or come out with another model, or I don't know. They're going to do something because it's Valve. Like, if the Steam Deck didn't do what it was going to do, they were going to change that. And that is.
I mean, I'm obviously not going to freak out too much anyway because it is Valve. They have made good decisions before. So, like, until they actually come. Now, if they come out and start and say, yeah, it's going to start $800, then I guess the conversation's gone. But,
Yeah, then it's kind of like.
Half-Life 3 notwithstanding is still probably not good enough to make us go, oh!
Comes bundled with Half-Life 3. That would fix the problem. But yeah, so yeah, I'm sad that I missed the Steam conversation last week. But I did actually do something right before I went on vacation that I have achieved something gaming-wise that I never, ever, ever, ever thought was ever going to actually
Well, we know it's not
happen.
the backlog being cleared, so we can scratch
It's not
that
the
one off.
backlog, but it is an item in the backlog that I thought was going to be there forever. Because I beat The Witcher 3, including both expansions. Like,
Well done.
Holy hell. I don't know what happened, because I was like 80 hours into the game already, and like nowhere near the end of the main
Rookie
game.
numbers.
Yeah. And I put it, I was playing it a bit on my Steam Deck where it runs beautifully. And again, PC's hooked up to the TV, so I'd like the odd time, like, wife's upstairs watching a movie or something. All right, I'm going to go down and play a little Witcher. Something clicked in my head where it became my life to just keep playing The Witcher 3. I beat the main game. I went right into the, what's the first expansion? Stone?
There's Blood and Wine, and there's Hearts of Stone.
Hearts of Stone. Went right into Hearts of Stone, did that one. Finished it, thinking I'd need a break, went right into Blood and Wine. Like,
and that's almost a whole game in itself.
yes, Blood and Wine especially was like massive because it's like this new
so
area.
good.
So good. And I loved playing through this game. Like, it just clicked with me again. And I've been playing this game since I got it like at launch. I actually pre-ordered it. I got a pre-order code on Steam through trading back in like before the game was even released. It was like 2015. Maybe even 2014 actually. And ended up, getting it, played through The Witcher 1. I've actually played The Witcher 1, played through The Witcher 2, both from like beginning to end. Witcher 1 is rough. It is a point and click kind of game. It is PC only. And then I finally started this in like 2017, I think it was. And I've been playing it since. Like, it's like I would just randomly install it, get 5 hours further into the story, and then not play. I had it on my PC. I bought it again on Switch because it had the cross save. And I was like, I'll have it portable. I'll be able to play Witcher 3 on my Switch. Played it for like 10 hours there. Realized the achievements didn't pop if I was playing on Switch because it doesn't have achievements. And I was like, are you kidding me? And it wouldn't unlock on Steam. So I was like, screw it, I'm not playing it there. But yeah, there's just something about this one that clicked again that I played, I think, 50 hours or something. Like, this wasn't like in a few days, obviously. This was over like weeks. I've just been playing this and not talking about it on the podcast, really. But yeah, this game is incredible. Like, The Witcher is just one of the greatest
I would say
games.
it's one of the greatest like modern classics.
Absolutely.
Like,
and like, this game's 10 years old and it looks better than any game almost. That's okay, not better than any game, but
let's dial that back a little bit.
there's a lot of games that are releasing now that look worse than The Witcher 3 somehow. Like, I'm talking Gotham Knights. I'm talking those kind of games, right? Like, it's crazy. And yeah, at the end of have you both beaten both expansions?
I've beaten all.
I only beat the base game. I never did play the expansions.
At the end of so this is a small spoiler for anybody who doesn't want to know something about the ending of the Blood and Wine expansion, which is like the final
10-year-old Witcher
Yeah,
game,
exactly. You're sitting around the campfire with Regis, who, by the way, I've read all the books, so I know all these characters. So when they show up, I'm like, oh my God, Regis is still alive? What's going on? You're sitting at a campfire with him, and it's like, oh, this has been a long road. Like, we finally made it. And then Geralt's like, yeah, finally. And he just slowly turns to the TV and smiles. Oh, I'm still here? Okay, I'm still here.
Yeah, you're
Sorry,
still
my screen cut out for a split second there. But yeah, like the actual, like, he just looks at you and smiles. Like, Garrett literally looks right at you and just smiles like, yeah, it's been a really long road. And I'm like, oh my God, they're breaking the fourth wall here. Geralt's looking right at me. Which is funny because I think they were very well aware that it is an incredibly long game. And you've been through a lot. And I actually felt it. Like, when the game was finally over, I was like, I felt this. Like, this was a lot. Yeah, it's just so good. The decisions you make really, really matter, especially in that Blood and Wine. There's some decisions you got to do, and it's like, ooh.
Oh yeah.
Oh, it's so good.
I commend you for like taking hiatuses on this game, because this game is not an easy game to come back to.
No.
I played the first one, and it was a while before I went back and did the DLC, and I got back into it, and I'm like, what are the controls on this, and how the hell do I do this? Like, it took a while to get my groove back.
It was a hard approach for me because
I
I never played the original 2 for more than like maybe an hour. So getting into 3 and being like, I mean, it's a game of the year. I figured I might as well try it again. And sure enough, that was the one that stuck. But like the amount of like checking Wikipedia to kind of get summaries on the previous 2 to kind of understand what the hell I was doing for some of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's worth it.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, for me, it was every time I would come back, because it would be like 6 months to a year every single time. I always remembered the story, what was going on, because I love the Witcher lore and the story and everything. But yeah, it was the controls, or I'd start up and I'd load my most recent save and I'm in a cave. And I'm like, wait, what cave is this? Where am I? Like, it's like I remembered the main story, but like probably the side thing I was doing. And the controls are a little bit janky sometimes, obviously, and everything like that. So... But yeah, I fully beat The Witcher, and I knocked out one of the biggest games out of my backlog. One of the like scary items where it's like I'm never beating this, and I did. So it's over.
It's funny. Witcher is one of the games. It came out at like a great or a bad time or something like that. And this is like at the time when I was teaching. So it came out, I think, in like May or June, right around the end of like the school year. So I was going on sabbatical / unemployment. Right around the time that this game came out, and I just lost so much time to it. Jen would like leave for work, and I'd be on the couch playing Witcher, and she'd come back, and I had not moved like at all. And she's like, "I know that you're having fun with your game, but
yeah, but
yeah." So yeah, no, this is a good one. I'm glad you got a chance to play it and finish it. And you got platinum it.
Yeah, I'm glad I didn't have to buy it on yet another device where it's like it's been so long and I need to move my cross save to
Yeah.
yet another device. But thank goodness. Oh, so good.
Nice. Yeah, on my end the same. Like I have a big accomplishment. I shared it on the Discord today. You guys can find it linked tr.ee/PixelPlay Podcast. Yeah, I finished in Platinum Ghost of Yote, so sad to see that one go. Overall, I'd say it's a really good game. I really liked it. Incredibly beautiful. It is, the combat's super fun. Like the mechanics are super fun. The narrative didn't quite hit with me. I felt the story was very cookie cutter. Like obviously like the idea of like a revenge samurai thing, not super new or anything. But I felt like the story beats just each of the Yote 6 just fell into that same sort of like, oh, we do this, things don't go right, okay, we go here, oh no, things have changed, oh, we got them. Like it felt like each one played out the exact same. And I don't know what that was, if it's because you can kind of tackle the story in any way that you want, whatever. I just felt that there was like a weird thing with the narrative, how that was done, and the same with like the pacing. Like it took way too long for me to get the stealth mechanics. Like I was halfway through the game when I got the stealth mechanics, and it's like, okay, cool. I wish I'd kind of gotten this sooner. So like overall, I find it's a good game. I think it's hard to say. I haven't played Ghost of Tsushima in a long time. I feel like though I prefer Ghost of Tsushima slightly more than this one. This is the problem that we've been having with Sony sequels in the PS5 generation, in that it just feels like a safe, by the numbers,
Almost like no new ideas, really.
Kind of, yeah. Like, and I was thinking about it, I'm like, why does this feel different than the PS4? And it's because, like, the PS4 ones, like, they were all new things. Like, Ghost of Yote was new. The Horizon was new. Like, it's all, Spider-Man was new. And the PS5 has all just been kind of, like, just more, like, a PS4.2 kind of thing.
Yeah.
So, like, it feels the same as it does with, like, Horizon or Spider-Man or God of War Ragnarok. Just more of the same with not much changing. It's good, it's fine, but like I've seen it already. So this one doesn't do too much for it. It was kind of predictable. Some stupid narrative choices that I felt like, okay, like this was, doesn't quite make sense why this happened this way. Character choices, what happens to characters, like it's all, you kind of see it coming and it's like doesn't really make sense that it happens that way, or why are they doing it this way. So yeah, it's good. Like I'd say this game, if I were to rank it on our scale, it's a 5 out of 6. Like, if you want to play this, if you're interested in this, it's certainly not going to disappoint. But it's not breaking any ground. It's not doing anything drastically different or new that's, a must play. It's not going to win anyone over who, if you didn't like Ghost of Tsushima, you're not going to like Ghost of Yote. But necessarily if you liked Ghost of Yote, there's nothing that would tell me you didn't like this, but it doesn't do much more than what Ghost of Tsushima did. So yeah, I'd give it a 5 out of 6. Really good, really cool. I liked how easy it was to switch between play styles and stuff, but I felt like they trickled out stuff too slowly. Like one of the cool aspects is like you can get like guns in this game. You can get like a pistol and like a flintlock pistol and flintlock rifle. But by the time I had that, I'd already kind of built out my loadouts and like my perks and stuff like that I didn't feel the need to use them that much. So, and this game also has a difficulty spike. Like I was doing fine. I was playing on medium for the whole game, and then like the last 2 bosses, maybe the last 2 hours of the game, just get brutally hard. And like I got through them, but it was just like, man, this just pivots, and doesn't always reward all the playstyles, right? So I had like a stealth build, but every time you face a boss, you end up doing a boss fight, so your stealth build becomes kind of useless. Yeah. Or if you have something for like fighting in like large crowds, right? Like I had a lot of stuff that did like kill a guy and it affects like his buddies or something like that, which became kind of useless in the boss fights, but it was nice because you can change your gear throughout. So yeah, it's good, it's fun. Really enjoyed it. Like, got lost in the world, but I don't know, not my favorite Ghost of game.
Yeah, I feel like you had a really good point. You said that Ghost of Tsushima, maybe felt a little bit better. In this game, it felt like everything was kind of given out too slowly or like over too much of a long time. I think that's the thing with me. It's that I feel like Ghost of Tsushima, like stealth mechanics, all the different things were within the first 5 hours of the game. I feel like you were kind of introduced to the different stuff almost right away, so you could kind of play as you wanted without having to wait.
Well, I think also it made sense the way it was paced out in Ghost of Tsushima, right? Because you start out as a samurai, and the story is about you learning to become a shinobi and like use like these non-honorable fighting styles. So it makes sense that you start off with like swords and samurai and honor, and slowly become acclimated to the stealth mechanic. Whereas I feel like with Ghost of Yotei, it was more formulaic of go to this new part of the map, get this new, weapon. Now you can like go and fight. Now you can use this weapon or this style, right? So like there's like, here's where you get your spear. Here's where you get your stealth mechanic. Here's where you get your, dual katana. So like it very much Legend of Zelda-esque in that like go to this area, get your new weapon, use your new weapon in that area, and go on to the next one. So it just doesn't fit. And I think the story was more compelling in Ghost of Tsushima of like, hey, balancing, honor and who you're supposed to be with like getting results and this new way of like getting things done, but maybe not the honorable way, was much more compelling than is revenge bad, which no offense, I feel like PlayStation has beat that horse to death.
Yes.
So
It kind of gives similar vibes to me of like, and for the same reasons that I didn't finish Yotei, for the same reason why I didn't do Tsushima, like with Zero Dawn and Forbidden West, like it just felt like it's more of the same, but it's not doing anything different. It's now just, I guess it's the same thing running at 60 frames. It's just they've changed the story, but it doesn't feel like anything's really different. I would say Spider-Man 2 is the lone exception to that, where I do feel like the story in itself, while I maybe would prefer the first to the second, but it's so like close to each other that I'm not like nearly as say disenfranchised as I am going to a third Horizon game, because Forbidden West was definitely well underwhelming my expectations, whereas Spider-Man 2 was basically what I was hoping for. But it does seem like Sony is in a trap right now where they're just making the same experiences. It's just better looking and runs better, and that's not good enough right now.
Well, yeah, I think like the differences, like there is some differences with Ghost of Yotei. Like the combat is, I'd say, better than Ghost of Tsushima, but I feel like as a whole package, I prefer Ghost of Tsushima.
Yeah, it's like, but like, is a slight change for the better enough to really make it seem like it's that much more different compared to say like, I mean, obviously like Uncharted between 3 and 4 is a massive overhaul because there was time. Yeah. So like there's the bit too of like, I understand if you're doing sequels within like, let's say a 3 to 5 year window, that you're not going to do like a massive overhaul graphically or combat wise or whatever. But like then it's upon you, if it's a single player experience, to make your story that much better so that it carries over the fact that it's mostly a retreading of the same gameplay. Because like Assassin's Creed used to not have that problem as well, where like, yeah, it was more Assassin's Creed, but like Ezio's story was still really, really good. Then Black Flag came along and that was really good. So like, you can still have these experiences be relatively the same with a few improvements and alterations, but like if the story is, in my opinion, with Yotei was just as mid as Tsushima's was, it's not really going to do much else. It's still going to be just feels like you're doing the same thing again, which for some people might work. I mean, Dynasty Warriors fans seem to have no problem with that, and it's been the same game for 30 years. But, if you're like me and you're kind of looking for new stuff right now, this wasn't it. And it's kind of been something that Sony's been kind of doing for a bit, where it's what makes me look forward to Intergalactic that much more, because it's gonna be something else.
Yeah.
I think it's
and that's, I think,
no, go ahead, Kaylan.
I was gonna say, like, I think that's what I'm missing is like, I don't want Sony to move away from like the third person narrative. Like, that's cool, but I want new ideas, right? I want, like, I think the thing that made PlayStation 4 so special is that, with the exception of I think Naughty Dog, every studio made a new IP, right?
Like despite people's opinions of Days Gone, like it was still something new, right?
Yeah, Days Gone, The Order, you had Ghost of Tsushima, you had Horizon, you had Spider-Man. Like every single studio made something new. Yeah. And that was, I think, exciting. And I kind of, I guess, wish that they did that again.
It's that conversation we keep having where it's like, look, we're okay if you're going to make the same kinds of games, but try not to just put the same coat of paint on them at all times. Like, just give us something different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Something crazy is that the release time between Uncharted 3 and 4 is the same between Tsushima and Yotei. They're both 5 years apart from each other, which is wild because Tsushima and Yotei don't feel like a generational gap.
I'd also love to know what the overall budgets were for those games too. because I think that's probably a big part of it. Is that, as we've said so many times on the show now, budgets are too big and games are taking too long to build. You know, even going back to our conversation about the next gen of gaming, like, I don't want to hear that, oh, games are going to get even more realistic and they're going to be even bigger. I'm like, no, because that means they're going to take longer to make. It's like, no, just make smaller experiences. They don't have to be 4K, 60 frame per second ray tracing, 60-hour massive open world games anymore. Like, you guys can do some really cool shit in under 20 hours.
I think like this is coming across more negative than it's supposed to. Like, I really liked Ghost of Yotei.
I'm making it more negative than it.
Oh, I know you are. Stain, you got a great lockdown. But I think like what I'm saying is that like it's great. Like, I lost myself into this. I was loving being a samurai or going around killing samurais. Like, I was super into it. I think it's just I was enjoying it, but I was also underwhelmed. That was, I think, the key is like
Oh, 100%.
I mean, a large part of it being the fact that, you know, it's just Tsushima 2.0, really.
Yeah.
And like other franchises haven't necessarily had that problem. So it's a case of right now it seems like the Sony formula is copy and paste, make a few alterations, and hopefully the story's better.
Yeah. I think they're doing what's safe.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I guess my favorite parts of the game was when I was not doing the main missions. Like when I was just out roaming the land and just picking up
kind of the problem
objects.
with a game that's going to be 40 plus hours.
Yeah.
You should kind of like the journey to the end.
Yeah.
But what do I know? I have just the worst opinions in all of gaming. So
I agree.
Other than that, I booted up Blueprints today.
Nice.
Yeah. I'm a little lost. I have no idea what I'm doing in that game, but I'm only like an hour.
Yeah,
that is about the
rough.
first 5 hours of Blueprints.
Yeah, I'm like, what am I doing here? Like, I'm going around and finding rooms, and it seems like it's just always is the same room. I feel like I'm spinning wheels, but I'm excited to keep going with it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those games that, like, the longer you get into it, the more and more that you start to kind of understand it. Now, there are certain things that even by the time that I finally said I've gotten my fill of it, I still didn't know shit. But, like, you get to a point where you're like, okay, I like these rooms a lot. I'm going to start using this at certain points. You know, and certain puzzles start to click in. I don't know if you'll go as deep as maybe I did by the time that I finished, where you, like, really find some deep cut puzzles. Like,
nope.
I thought I was impressive when I'm like, oh, God, I have more trophies than Chris on this. And I'm asking Chris, like, oh, have you seen this puzzle? And he's like, what the fuck is that room?
Fuck Blueprints for that reason. I love this game a lot, but if you beat the game and the first time you actually beat it, you still only have one achievement unlocked, what are you doing? Why would you do that to me? I'm an achievement guy, and I'm going to have one?
Nope. My goal is I'm going to hit the antechamber, and as far as I'm concerned, that's it. Like, I'm rolling credits. It's the same with Hades, where it's like, hey, beat this game again. No, I'm sorry. I did it once. We're good.
Enjoy your one achievement, Kaylan.
Yeah, that's fine with me.
Yeah, I mean, and obviously you'll see as you get there, too, like, there might be a point where you go, you know what? I want to see if this goes a little bit further, because, again, it is that very addictive part of it. So, like, when I initially hit the antechamber finally, I was like, okay, finally, we're done. And then I looked around at what there was still on my plate that I knew that I hadn't figured out yet, and I'm like, all right, fine, I'll see if I can figure out this puzzle. And then that turned into, like, 7 other puzzles by the time I finally said, okay, I think I've actually got this much of it. But
No,
yeah,
I'm really liking this.
like, even the journey just to get into the antechamber the first time is still, like, a pretty good one.
Yeah. But yeah, that's what I'm playing. Adam, you playing anything exciting, or you want to talk about what we played at the
If I'm being honest, I don't really have anything to add. Like, I've been retreading a few things here and there. I think I'm just in, like, Game Awards mode where I'm just like, can we just get this over so I can see all the trailers that I can look forward to now? Because it's kind of at that point where it's starting to get a little bit dead again. Now, I say this as somebody that doesn't have a massive backlog. Sorry, Chris. I
was going to say, like, I've
like.
never experienced this emotion with gaming ever, because I just look at my backlog and I'm like, oh my God,
I'm
that's
also
super
admittedly at a
popular
point that
game
I'm like,
I never touched.
I'm feeling FOMO because there are games out there that I want to play with people and no one's, like, playing them. Because, like, I want to look into Arc Raiders, but no one's playing it. I even have an interest in wanting to, like, as a screw-around game, to play Dead Island 2, because, like, I love the original, and just no one's interested. So I'm sitting here being like, well, fuck, what am I going to do? Because, like, all my single-player games are basically done now.
I own a Dead Island game. It's in the backlog. I don't know which one it is.
And even games like Ball X Pit, like, I like, but I'm not going to get sucked in again now that I've, like, gotten a good chunk out of it. So I'm in that weird spot of like I'm just trying to find something to do. But I mean, maybe next year with some of the games that we saw in Toronto, and that's I said it right. It's Toronto, not Toronto, as a lot of people try to say. But we like I said at the beginning of the show, we ended up getting in a little bit early to go check out. I mean, we could have walked the show floor and seen other stuff, but let's be real, like
We were there for the games.
what are we gonna do? Look at art early for 30 minutes? That doesn't seem like an interesting thing to do. So we end up looking at art that we can play with our hands with controllers.
But yeah, Adam, we got a chance to go check out the Video Game Expo in Toronto. We were given passes, so thank you so much. I honestly kind of was just like, Adam, you could attest. Every booth we went to, I was like, man, Chris would love this game. Man, Chris would love this game. So I figured this is gonna be fun. We could just like literally just talk to Chris for the next 40 minutes about all the games.
We really should have just called this episode just 10 more games on Chris's backlog.
Yeah.
Hang on, I'm just moving Steam to be clickable. Totally unrelated.
Adam, where do you want to start with this? Do you want to like do our favorites? Do you want to do like
also
countdown?
thank you to the Toronto Game Expo for giving us the passes and giving us a good chance to do this. But also, like, this is the coolest experience I've ever gotten to do. Outside of there's a more local convention that I used to go to where I could actually run panels. So that was like it was a much more community based convention. But in terms of like a bigger convention, like this is probably the biggest thing I've gone to that I've been able to actually have like some level of connection with now. Because like Chris, you and I, we went to EGLX a couple of times and like that was cool and all, but realistically it was walk around for like a couple hours and then leave. Like Chris ends up finding his new coffee addiction with 8-Bit Beans, I think was that company's name.
Yeah.
So like you get stuff like that, but for the most part it's like, oh, those guys are playing Smash and there's this cool indie game. All right, that's neat. And then we left. This time around, like coming at it from like, we're looking at potentially like people that we can bring on the show at some point and interview, and also be a little bit closer into this community of the local indie scene here. It's just a really interesting experience being on a different side of the conversation now, instead of just being there as like a fan or just a regular convention goer, like actually coming at it with a like podcast sort of journalistic mind, I guess. Not really though. I mean, I tried to ask some interesting journalistic questions, but let's be real, I was mostly just, saying random gamer shit. But
no, it was good. We had like a lot of good conversations and stuff. Adam, do you want to like do our top 3 and then we'll do like honorable mentions afterwards?
Yeah, let's start from there. So,
okay.
I mean, I have my own personal things, so I'll just bring it up first. The first one that came to mind for me was Roller Girl.
Yeah.
And
guys, if you're not watching this episode, this is an episode to watch.
I was going to say, this is going to be a very video-centric episode, I think. But Roller Girl, actually, like, we met the person who plays the character that this is based off of, because it's basically about her times as being, like, a 16-year-old rollerblading around, like, small suburban place in Ontario. But what I didn't know when we actually got there was that I actually played a game that one of their lead developers was a part of. Because if you guys remember, I was talking about Lake, which was this game about being like a postal office worker in like this really small like lake town, in like the middle of buttfuck nowhere. And one of their developers is a part of this team. Like the person who made that game is part of this team. And the vibes that I get from this game is very similar. It's just chill, small town, just going around and journeying and just shooting the shit with people. But now it has this extra thing of like, I know like Chris, we've been keeping up with these games, like Lost Records and mixtapes, sort of indie garage rock, like music vibe to it, like 90s sort of like teenager coming of age sort of story vibes. Except this is more of like, what did I call it, Kaylan, the other day? It was, Jet Set Radio and Chill.
It's Jet Set Radio meets like Life is Strange or like Little Kitty Big City kind of thing, where it's like you're hanging out, you're rollerblading around, doing odd jobs around the town, kind of figuring out what's going on. You're basically, the story is you bought a new car, your car breaks down, and you need to pay the mechanic to fix it, and he has a list of chores to do, and like you have to earn the money by doing odd jobs around the town to help people out, and then you kind of like get to know people and like figure out what's going on in the town and all that stuff.
Yeah, and it's just another one of those games too. Like, I mean, I've obviously been big on the cozy scene for a while now, and this is one of the things that just all the vibes. Like, I was a big rollerblading guy as a kid. Obviously, the '90s vibe is going to speak well to all three of us, And then again, like I really like a lot of like indie music that we get nowadays. So like, you know, I mean, Keep Driving, which is one of my favorite games from this year, similar vibes where like a lot of independent music was being brought in there. When we were talking with, oh my God, what was her name? I think I have it in my notes somewhere. Indigo. When we were talking with her at the booth, like one of the things that we were chatting about was like how really cool it is that a lot of games now are deciding, I mean, sure, like there are going to be games that still compose anyway. I mean, obviously, we've seen what Darren Korb did with Hades 2, obviously, this year in general for Supergiant. But, like, a lot of game companies are realizing that instead of being so concerned about building a new soundtrack, they can go find, like, this really small local band, whether it's, you know, in their area or in some places you find, like, a band that's, like, out in Europe somewhere that just has no traction. You're like, let's just shoot our shot. I really like this band's music, and let's just see if they're willing to give it for, like, a small fee. And people are figuring out to put their libraries through with that instead of, you know, ponying up the money to get a composer and then having to go through the process of, we don't like this song. Can you do something with this? Like, and having the back and forth. Now it's just, we like this song. Hey, can we use that? And I like that a lot more games are starting to use that because it means you're not only you getting a lot more music that works right away and you know exactly what you want to do with it, but it also means now it's a lot more music that like you as the player can now just add to your Spotify because it's generally more music that are like actual like pop into your playlist songs rather than just being this atmospheric music. Because look, like I would love to have Final Fantasy and all these other games music on my Spotify playlist, but without lyrics and stuff, like I don't generally listen to a lot of instrumentals. So like having songs that feature lyrics and are more my vibe, it's a great comparison that it does with it now.
Yeah.
This game looks fantastic, and I loved Lake. So, and I could even see, like, it doesn't, obviously it's not the same as Lake because it's a lot more fast with being on rollerblades and stuff like that, but you can definitely see some of the similarities in there. But yeah, that looks really cool. It's on my games to wish list that I've just created.
Bing! Number one. All right, Kaylan, if that wasn't your number one, what was yours?
So my number one game, I was gonna count down from three to one.
Oh, okay. Then what's your number?
I mean, I started from the top, so you do whatever you want.
That's fair. So my number three, the one that kind of interests me the most, one that I can see myself playing when it comes out, it's called Into the Data Swarm. So this is kind of like a cyberpunk kind of game where you are like a hacker kind of person going through and like hacking and trying to like get past security and stuff like that. And it is a turn-based puzzle game that gives a lot of vibes similar to like Hitman Go. Hitman Go with like a cyberpunk kind of vibe to it. So we played a couple levels and I thought like they were pretty cool and like you got some powers to like take out like the enemies to kind of open up the levels. It was a super cool game, really neat art style. And it was a like demo that felt like fully playable, like it felt like a full game ready to go. And I really enjoyed it. I like the aesthetic. I like the puzzles. It was one of those I could just see myself hanging out and chilling and playing. As you like take out these guards, they follow a pattern, but once they get activated, they have a different pattern. So it was a really cool little game there that I thought had a lot of potential and something I could see myself playing. So
well, and a big key about a lot of the games that we saw too is like, and obviously this is why we kept saying these were very much Chris games. So many of these are so perfect for Steam Deck.
Oh yeah.
Yes.
That's all I'm seeing right now, looking at the video.
Yeah.
Because yeah, like if you're watching on screen, like the idea is when you shoot them, you need to shoot all of them to activate the crystal to get out to the next level. But once you hit them, their patterns change and they're way faster. So
yes,
you got to be careful. Like in the early game, you're mostly fine. If you shoot them, you'll be fine. Like unless you're directly in front of them, you'll be fine. When it gets actually difficult is once it starts to really ramp it up, and now they start being in spots where you have to be in a very specific area, and you also have to pay attention to which one you hit, because if you hit one first, the chance of you getting back to the other end of the map before they get to you somehow is also decreased. So you gotta, at first it introduces you to just kind of being like it's like, okay, boop, boop, all right, go to the crystal, we're done. Then eventually gets to a point of like, okay, boop, fuck. All right, what if I go here? Boop. Okay, we'll go here. We go, fuck. And then you kind of keep going and going and going until you start figuring out, oh, okay, if I go to this square, hit him. And then I make sure I go to this spot, wait for this guy to go one more spot over so that way he's not turned the other way around. Boop, hit him. Okay, now I can go. So it's like, eventually gets to the point of it's like the 3 to 5 times you die before you realize, oh, that's where I got to do it.
Yeah.
But it's obviously like they're all really, really short levels, so you're not going to spend more than like a couple of minutes on them generally.
No.
So, yeah, it was definitely one of those experiences where I'm like, okay, yeah, I could like if this is like a lower cost game, like I could definitely see myself popping this in.
Yeah, for sure.
I mean, most of these games aren't going to be that expensive to begin with because I mean, again, these are all local. So,
Yeah. But this one I felt like would be one that you would see on like Steam or PlayStation or whatever, and like you wouldn't hear about it, but like it's a solid game. Like it doesn't feel like half baked. It feels like a full solid game.
yeah, no, I agree with that as well.
It looks really cool. I like
what do
the
you got next?
puzzle
sorry.
aspect of it.
Like I said, I felt like a lot. It reminded me a lot of Hitman Go.
Yeah. It's on the wish list.
Nice.
Yeah, the one that's kind of leaning, I'm kind of like on a bit of both sides with it, but I'm gonna lean towards the fighting game that we were playing, which was Angels of Battle,
Ooh.
which was
This is
very
right
much
up
like
Adam's alley.
it definitely had even the developer that we were talking to kind of referenced it to being a lot like Blaze Blue, like a very much that like old school like Arc System Works games, but also had a bit of like the 2D animation, sort of similar to like what Skullgirls is, which is a recent indie fighting game gen that a lot of people talk about. Like this one isn't going to be like a wowing game, but like as a casual like fighting game, like it's pretty decent for what it was. Like we had a lot of fun with it.
I'd say one of the things that was really good about this is that I'm not a fighting person in terms of like fighting games. Like I'm a button masher, like don't know what I'm doing. And even I felt like the combos and the skills and stuff were very accessible, that I was like able to pull some stuff off with just, basic minimal instructions. So
Especially because you had help because my controller kept disconnecting during the fights.
I mean,
and I
we don't have
still
to go
won.
into- we don't have to go into specifics of what happened, why, but like it is a welcoming fighting game.
I trounced him. It was a flawless victory. Well, the third one was. First
that
one I
one
was getting my brains. The second one, my controller disconnected, and you took like half my health off, and I almost came back from that.
Nah, I don't remember it that way, but okay.
Yeah, I'm sure you don't remember it that way.
I'm sure you both are making some good points here.
But yeah, like it definitely gave me vibes of a lot of like what Arc System Works done with their 2D RPGs. I think that's, I mean, the guy referenced Blaze Blue, so I think they took a lot of that as a reference too. I mean, there's also, and I'm blanking on what it's called. It's not Darkstalkers. There's another one. I think it's called In Night, which is a much more like low key. Like most people, if you're in the fighting game scene, you probably haven't heard of that one as much. But it's like a much more low tier Arc System. I think it's an Arc System Work game. But like it's very much more in that like anime 2D style, but it's way more on the technical side, so it's like way more of the hardcore side, and it feels like this just more simplistic, but it does have that kind of vibe to it. It was really good. Like it was another one of those things that I'm like, all right, like it wouldn't be my first choice. I mean, obviously, if we're talking Arc System Works games, I'm a little bit more looking forward to Tokon Fighting Souls than I am anything else with Marvel. But I mean, as a fun little aside thing, like I actually enjoyed this quite a bit, so I'm keeping an eye on when this one actually fully releases.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm not a fighting guy, like a fighting game guy. I play Mortal Kombat for the story and then I bounce and never play it again. But that actually looks like a lot of fun. I think it's just because it's got that more like casual indie vibe to it that it doesn't feel as
well, and it even kind
stressful.
of looks like an old arcade game in a way.
Yeah.
For me, the next one I wanted to talk about was a game that stood out because, like, first of all, the person that was like running this little booth was absolutely incredible. So charismatic and like really able to talk about the game and like what it's doing and stuff. But I was really impressed with it because it was very much like Fallout meets like Starfield / I want to say like Star Wars a little bit. And that Sky of Tides.
Yeah, shout out to Faduma. If I'm not pronouncing your name wrong, Faduma, I'm so sorry, but yeah, that's who we were chatting with in the booth, and she was fantastic.
She was great. But so let me paint it for you. This feels like the old school point and click Fallout games, like the isometric top down RPGs, and it is an RPG game set in a future narrative. And I didn't get too far into it because this seems like a game that is really deep, but it is voice acted with like some notable names in there that like I recognized. I can't think of them off the top of my head, but but very much like that old school Fallout vibe with like a Starfield-esque restart on this planet, but you're going to be going and navigating other planets and stuff, as I understand it. But then also like there's a little bit of talk of like a rebellion forming up and like your character joining it, I think. So kind of has some Star Wars vibes. Like I can't speak too much to this because it seems like one of those games that's really big. And the demo I had was rather short, so I didn't get to do a lot of stuff.
Yeah, they were telling me
it's
some were going to be around like the 8 to 10 hour range. I think they were saying is what it's kind of aimed for.
Yeah. So, but I didn't get a chance to like do any of the combat, so I can't speak to that. But like narratively, what this game is promising sounds interesting, and I was really excited to check it out. Art style was really cool. They also said that this was kind of like leaning into some sort of like you can finish the game, and then there's also going to be like a web series attached to it as well.
Yeah, they did say that once you finish it, it actually unlocks like a small like couple episode like animated series that they've also built with the story.
Mm-hmm. So
it's kind of a neat little concept that they have with it. It's like, hey, your reward is you also get to see like the story that you've been working on in like full animated form.
Mm-hmm. It's also nice. I felt like this is like one of the larger, more ambitious games that we saw. Hey, Adam, would that be a fair assessment?
I would say this is probably the most ambitious one that we saw.
Yeah. So
because it also had vibes of a bit of like Disco Elysium in a way with the way that it's set up.
Yeah.
Which like, apparently in the dev community for that game is a point of contention because there's people that think it looks like that, or I can't remember what the second game was, but like Faduma was mentioning that, you know, it's a sore spot for some people because apparently Disco Elysium fans do not like anything being compared to it because they want the sole ownership of that, which is hilarious.
Yeah, of course. This looks amazing. This looks like as if when Fallout 1 was being made, they also had, you know, already started their Starfield series in the same like fashion.
that kind of does kind of feel a bit like that.
Yeah, like it feels like Starfield World mixed with, you know, Fallout 1 and 2 gameplay.
Yeah. This looks like a Chris game to me, I'm not going to lie. Mm-hmm. It's on the list.
Oh, we haven't even gotten to the Chris game yet.
Oh, wow. Okay.
At least in my opinion. Chris, Adam, you can tell me if I'm wrong, but
I mean, they're all Chris games. It's just
they're all yeah.
To be honest, I have written all 4 of them down so far.
So should I just lean into what I think is the Chris game because I think I
think we
talking
can
about.
Get into it. Yeah.
So, and I can't remember. I think they were at the one that we went to last time, Chris. The problem is I'm having trouble finding gameplay footage of it because the title of it is very basic. If I'm being like not mean with it, but it's a very. I don't think I'm going to be able to find it because the title of it is Make a Hit. And
Adam, if you go to the link that we have in our Discord, there's actually a video right there if you want to follow.
You know what? That's perfect. I didn't even consider that idea. I did have my notes there.
So while he's pulling it up, I'll talk about it. So, Chris, this is a game where you are a up and coming musician, and your job is to make cassette tapes for your band and make them like you have like certain goals and aspects you have to hit in order to become a bigger, more popular artist. So the aspect that we got to was that you are mixing different tapes together to make a awesome tape that you can then distribute. So you have to go through and each tape has different aspects. So there'll be like red tapes, yellow tapes, white tapes, blue tapes, whatever. And you have to mix as many combinations together in order to make a hit. The more connections you have, the higher your score. So for me, I kind of had a bit of it's a puzzle kind of Balatro-esque feeling game of like mixing and matching these together to get combos to then make a better hit that makes more money because you have a certain goal each level you have to make X amount of money per round, and that's how you progress. As you get further up, there's like other things that make it more challenging. There's things like you get vinyls involved, you get record labels that then have to be associated, like accommodated and stuff like that. So it's a puzzle game about making hit music in the 80s. Adam, I don't know if I missed anything. If you want to add anything there,
yeah, like the biggest thing that it just adds is that like, you know, and I even asked them if they were gonna have like more like beats to it and stuff because what like the music wise to it is not what I was hoping for because there's a game that Harmonix, the guys who did Rock Band, made like a board game that had like cards that would play different sounds and you were trying to make like the best like track with it. And the only thing that I said about the game when we were playing is like, look, it's the same beat that comes through every time in the puzzle. I would love to have like some sort of actual like differentiation with the music to really add on to it. So it felt like not only was I making like going through this puzzle game, but I'm actually making some level of music with it. So who knows if that's something they add down the line. But yeah,
Now,
like the biggest thing is like as you get deeper and deeper into it, it just keeps adding more stuff. Because at the start, it's literally just outer color, inner color, and the brand of the tape. And then eventually it's like, okay, but now there's a half color in the inner color. And then eventually there's going to be a gradient to it. Then some of them are cracked. So like there's going to be, they just keep adding and adding on to it. Similar to like with Balatro where you just keep upping the,
Jokers.
no, not even the jokers, like the levels, like the
Oh
orange.
yeah, the
like,
antes.
Yeah, the
Or
difficulty.
the tokens.
Yeah, I just can't think of the name of it right now. It's escaping me. I think.
Chips.
But like when you turn up
Like
to
a red
from
chip.
like red to black to orange or whatever, like. But it's somewhere where it just keeps ramping up the deeper and deeper you get into it. So
Now this game was early. Like they said that they are not close to.
they also
releasing and stuff like
completely
that.
changed the platform they were making it on. So
Yeah. So this one, like, it's got potential and like we'll get there.
I'm so honored that you both get me so well. That is so much of this game. And also, fun fact, on Steam, you can actually request to be part of the playtest for the game. And yes, I just clicked that button during the podcast.
of course you did.
That looks exactly like my kind of game. Holy crap. The puzzle, the roguelite, like, part of it. I love it. Also, just the concept of, like, making, you know, an awesome mixtape kind of idea, right? Like, that's so good.
I'm trying to look through
on the list.
my list to see. Again, I'm trying to find footage of this one. It's the only thing with some of these more localized games, they don't always have footage up.
What are you trying to pull up?
I'm looking for Crown Slayers.
Yeah, they don't have much on there.
Yeah, that one. I'll just briefly, like, I guess we're kind of in like quick fire mode. Crown Slayers was, it's essentially what I would say if like Slay the Spire and Darkest Dungeon-ish vibes, but the main gimmick of that one is you have two battles going on at the same time. One is your past selves and the other is your future selves. So the enemy you're fighting is also the enemy you're fighting later that's evolved. So there are certain like abilities you can use both in the past and future that kind of affect whatever's going on in those two battles to kind of get them done quicker. I didn't get the chance to really explore too much of it. I know, Kaylan, you got to play a little bit of it. It seemed like
Yeah.
a really interesting concept. It's something that I'd like to get a little bit more deeper into before I see how it kind of fleshes that out.
Yeah, one of the cool things, like you kind of mentioned, is that like there's a choice to be made because you first start off like your past selves, and it's neat because like the past is like sword and board kind of traditional mythic fantasy, and then the futuristic is kind of like cyber shields and lightsabers and all that kind of stuff. And what you have to do is like you have so many like action points you can use, and you have to choose whether to use like them in the past or use them in the future, because whatever you don't use in the past gets carried over to the future. So there's like that balancing act of where do you put your time. So I thought that was really neat. Art style was super cool as well. Not the coolest one we saw though. There was one that took that by.
Yeah.
That sounds pretty cool. I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to lie at all. It's on the list.
Nice. The one that I was most excited for in the early parts that I saw was one called Dune Crawl. I didn't get a chance to talk to the developer. I don't even know if they were there, but it's kind of like a really cool game. It has a top-down mechanic to it. Kind of takes place in like this desert planet, and there's these like giant crawling robots, I guess, or platforms. And so the idea is that you're eventually going to get one and pilot this like giant mech through the desert or whatever. It was really cool. It had like very much a feel of like Tunic meets like Death's Door kind of aspect, and I thought that was really cool. So like you're kind of going through and you can see here how you're piloting like the mechs and like going around and shooting them and everything like that. Really cool game. It was like one of those I picked up and it felt like a video game and was really cool to play, and I was really enjoying it for the short amount of time that I had. So I was hoping to talk to the developer and get more information about it, but I was really enjoying it as I was playing it. Had a little bit of a Legend of Zelda feel as well from that top-down play style, but it was a really cool game, and like I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, it's
That's
got a really
beautiful.
it's a really nice design to it.
Yeah, I love how it looks. It's so beautiful.
Yeah. Yeah, it played really well, really smoothly too. So for the time I had with it, I really enjoyed it.
Mm-hmm.
So that's Dune Crawl. That is not the nicest game though that I saw in terms of art style. Adam, can you pull up Akium?
I can see what I can find. Yeah.
I hope I'm pronouncing that right. So I didn't play much of this game, but I thought this game was really neat from the art style that it had. So this is one that I think is inspired from like Southeast Asia sort of vibes. Kind of takes like a little bit of that mythology and kind of woven it into some festivals and stuff that's going on. I don't know much about it, so I can't speak to it, but it was a really cool game because we don't typically see this culture and like this like mythology celebrated that much. But like the aesthetic was really cool and really colorful. Kind of neat how they did it. Like it kind of has a little bit of like, I don't know how to describe it, like a dreams vibe or like, Adam, like how would you describe the art style in this? Like,
It's almost like if Splatoon was modeled in Little Big Planet graphics.
yeah, that's it. That's exactly how it'd be. So like, yeah, it's a lot of like celebrating like, I think Indian culture, but I don't know for sure. But like a really cool like crafty art style cartoon, but like really crisp and clean. So I really liked it. It was really well done. I didn't get the chance to play much of this game. Like I started the start and it was kind of slow to start, so I didn't get too deep into it. But I was really captivated by like one, the culture that it represents, and then two, the style of it. If nothing else, it is a very stylish game.
I mean, you even giving me the headphones earlier, being like, like tell me this doesn't sound like a bit of like a South Asian flair of like Zelda music.
Yeah, it sounded like Kakariko Village, like if it was done like in like Indian style like music and stuff like that. It was really cool.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it was a very cute looking game.
Yeah, it's very cute. It's almost like children's toys or something. You know what I mean? Like, yeah. I love this.
Yeah, this is a really cool one. And like I said, not something that you like, very similar to like Wukong Fallen Dynasty, where it's like something where you don't see it a lot, right? Like it's a narrative. It's like a, what's the word I'm looking for? Mythology that's kind of overlooked or underrepresented, which I thought was neat.
Mm-hmm.
The only other one that I think I want to talk about, Adam, that we had a lot of fun playing was D-Powerball.
Yes.
So, Chris, have you heard of this at all? I don't know. They've been at the show before, so maybe you've played it. But basically, it's kind of like a battle arena, sort of like, kind of like a Super Smash Bros. Kind of aspect. But what you're basically doing is you're trying to basically get this orb into like the center of the map, right? So
you're feeding to a dragon, basically.
Yeah. But the key aspect, you're kind of fighting to bring it into the dragon and feed it. You've got different weapons and power-ups, so you've got like shields, boosts, all that kind of stuff. But what's interesting is that you play over X amount of rounds, and whoever wins the round, everyone else gets to vote to remove one of your powers. So, if you win the first round, the rest of the players might decide that you no longer get to have a weapon. You can't knock out other players, or you don't get shields, or you can't double jump, or something like that. So it's interesting in an aspect that the better you do, the harder it becomes for you, and people can kind of like drag you down, kind of thing. If ever you played like Settlers of Catan, when you have someone who's like 8 points away, everyone gangs up to kind of like limit them. That's what this game felt like. Right now it's on Steam and it's got a healthy, from what we've been told, has like a healthy player base and stuff. But this is one that once it comes to console will just be great to have as a couch co-op to play with friends. Like if you're having a bunch of friends over and like having drinks and stuff, this would be a fun game to play.
Yeah, I've actually played this one when it was EGLX or something a few years ago. I got to play this one. Adam, I think it might have been with you. I can't remember if you were there or not.
It might. Well, I do have a fridge magnet, so like I know I played this game at some point before.
That's my first thought. As soon as I saw it, I'm like, it's the fridge magnet game. I still have this magnet on my fridge upstairs. Yeah, it's so good. Yeah, this is a lot of fun. This is a very, very cool game that I'm now realizing I could just grab on Steam today. I'm not going to lie. But yeah, it's a lot of fun. I love this.
Yeah, and it's one of those things too of like, is it doing anything like really crazy special? No, but like a lot of these games that you get on Steam that are these like cheap multiplayer games, like all they are is like sometimes you just need a game that's like part of your rotation. It's just like, hey, okay, let's play a couple rounds of this, and then we can boot up this and do that. Like it's like similar to how I haven't played Duck Game in a while, but Duck Game was such a really good just like game that you pop in for a few rounds of and then you're done.
Well, I think this game is a little bit new in the, like, or at least fresh in the aspect that you are able to take away aspects and, like, as the game implies, depower them and make their life harder for the game. So
yeah, no, there's
like an extra level. There's a level of strategy too of like if you have someone who is closer to winning, maybe it doesn't make sense for you to win that round and you let them take it so it gets harder for them for the rest of the series, I guess.
Yeah, it really depends on kind of what you're playing.
Mm-hmm. There's a deeper level of strategy there.
Yeah.
But yeah. Adam, is there any ones that we missed that you wanted to highlight? Because that about summarizes my list, I think.
Yeah, I mean, like, I'm not gonna. I think we got all the ones that we really wanted to show. I mean, a couple of the other. Like, I'll just shout out all the other people that we did talk to. We did talk to. Like, I'll just name the games. Hands of Armageddon, which was like this really interesting, just like first person, try not to die, like very short round thing. It was very like I think it's a solo dev game too. So it's like it's still like very much in early, like most of the stuff we play is like alpha builds. So, but like it's definitely one of those things like conceptually was really really fun and just obviously needs some tinkering here and there, but that was cool. FPS Core, which felt a lot like Unreal Tournament and Quake, sort of first person arena shooters. That was like a fun blast from the past, so that was a cool thing to go in. The graphics, I'm not as crazy about. It was a little off to me. Like, it looked almost like I don't know if pixely is the right word, but it was a little bit, like, jagged. So it just visually didn't vibe as well. It was fun to play, but, like, we also weren't getting... And again, early. It's still in early build, so, like, there's that. But, like, not having, like, hit markers and kind of telling when you're actually hitting stuff. Like, there was little things like that. But, like, it was still a cool proof of concept. Trying to, like... the other thing we played that we had some fun with was Dawn of the Monsters, which was like a 2D side-scrolling, like Turtles or Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles kind of thing, but it was like playing as, like kaiju or like a Megazord or stuff like that, where you're fighting off other kaiju in either your kaiju costume or your Megazord or your fucking Gundam robot or whatever, like your vehicle of choice is in that game, which was... It was pretty fun too. I would say that one was a little bit rougher in terms of how smooth it was, but like again, like the thing that I always had to tell myself is like for a very small team that's probably doing this on like basically no money, like some of the stuff that we got there is like it's pretty damn cool what some people are creating. Like is it going to be
I haven't made?
Yeah, right. Like is it going to be the next Balatro making the millions and millions of dollars? Probably not, but like it's still cool to see stuff as they're being built and being built by people that no one's gotten to see before unless you're consistently on these convention floors. Mm-hmm. But yeah, those are the only other ones I could think of off the top of my head. There were a couple of interesting board games that were there, but like I can't really show stuff of that because there's not like videos of it, so I don't really feel like bringing them up too much. But like there's a lot of cool stuff there, and it was bigger than the last time that we went, Chris, so there was a lot more options this time around, because the last time we were there was like maybe like what 10 12ish.
Yeah.
Whereas, like, this time, I would say, like, in total, it was somewhere around, like, the 25 range.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, it's pretty accurate. Yeah, 20 to 25 people.
So there's definitely a lot to go through. And, like, we didn't get a chance to see everybody. Not to mention, that, like, there were certain things that just didn't catch our eye. So, like, there's that. But, I mean, realistically, like, I added, like, at least 5 things to my list, which is... That's already more than what you're asking for at that point. If you're coming out of seeing a few random local developers doing stuff and you're walking away with at least a few wish lists, that's a plus.
Oh, 100%.
And then again, like I said at the beginning, like it was just really cool to have the experience of being able to chat and hearing from the side of someone who's doing, these small projects, as like maybe their first game or whatever, and like how they're approaching it. It was a really cool experience to have those kind of conversations in there, and also just shoot the breeze off of like, it's like, oh, I kind of see a bit of this game in that. He's like, funny you mention that, like conversations like that where it's just, you're all gushing about the things that you kind of love, which is what a lot of these devs do. Like, obviously, as we complain about AAA games, like a lot of these are being made by people in suits that don't give a shit about the industry itself. But then when you go to these conventions and you're seeing people that are building this from the ground up because they loved playing, 2D fighting games, or they love playing like, like, you know, any sort of like chill, like even like the Jet Set Radio and chill game that I said, like, or, you know, they're a big fan of, you know, Castle Crashers is like a big example that, you know, there was a lot of things that kind of had that sort of feel to it. Like you can tell where some of the influences are coming from. And it was really neat to actually, you know, get to talk to people and kind of pick their brains on that kind of stuff.
Yeah. No, it was a really good experience. I was really glad that we were able to go and check it out and stuff. So, and thank you to everyone who took the time to chat with us and show us their games. So,
and it's great that Chris didn't get to go because now he gets to be jealous.
I am jealous, but my wish list is massive now. So,
but honestly, like, and you know, it's something that we've been talking about doing for a while. We do want to get people on the show, whether it's, you know, separately for doing interview content or stuff like that, or just having them on an episode as like the fourth guest on the show for that week. Like, there are some people that we met there that we are planning on reaching out to, and we'll see where that goes. But like, it was a great opportunity for us to get to do that because it's something we've been thinking about for a while, and now it's actually part of our conscience to be like, oh yeah, no, I can see that guy being good, or I can see that girl being like a cool get for the show. So, you know, stay tuned. We might have something, you know, in the next couple of months, depending on, because a lot of these games they're shooting for like early access in like the spring, and then if they're lucky, full release at the end of the year next year. So who knows? It might be in a couple of months. It might be towards when the game's coming out and they want to advertise some more there. And who knows? They might be repeat appearances. You never know. So it's something that we're going to get to look into, and, you know, stay tuned. We might actually have some local devs on, which will be really cool, and that ends up being something that we can possibly expand into, because it's something I want to do for a while, is to get some different voices on here. Not because I'm tired of talking to Kaylan and Chris. Well, maybe Kaylan, that's a different story, but
that was jeez, never mind.
I'm just sitting here listening, and he's just taking shots
there.
at me.
Like, it's just.
And I can't wait for you to be gone next week, Kaylan, so I could really take some extra shots.
What did I do? I
you,
waited
Kaylan.
for you at the GO train. I missed a train, so I'd hang out with you a little bit longer. This is the repayment I get.
Missed a train. We got there and it basically left. It's not our fault that we just walk slow. But yeah, no, it's cool because, I mean, obviously we used to have guests on the show, and we haven't had that in a while. So it's something that, you know, we're hoping to get to do soon. Because, I mean, look, us three, we're good together. It's always nice to throw a little bit of a wrench into that formula once in a while. You know what I mean?
Yeah. You got to be ready for the next time Chris decides to leave us.
Yep. Who knows?
I mean, as opposed to what? Like, apparently most of the people that comment on our videos are already mad at me anyway. So, you know, I'm already getting the flack as it is. I'm used to it.
I'm also glad that the Game Expo in Toronto is actually growing, considering like it sounded like they're in the new building. It's bigger, had more devs there. Like, I think that's a really cool con, and like it's just like actually you're hands on, right? Like you're talking to the devs, markets are there. You guys are talking about art and stuff, and I think those things are amazing, and to have that in Toronto especially, and it be growing and becoming more popular is a really good sign. I love that.
My big hope is that, and obviously it's still growing, so it's going to take some time, but like my hope is that at some point it gets to an era where it can go into the Toronto Convention Center where they can have actual rooms where they can do panels again in.
Yeah,
because
that'd be
the
wicked.
one thing that's missing in a lot of these conventions is community. Because, you can go there and you can meet with your friends and you can chill with some indie delves and talk to the artists and do stuff like that. But, like, at the end of the day, there's no place to sit down and talk with people. Like, it was just vendors. There was a stage. I don't know what they did there because nothing happened when we were there. So I don't know if there was, like, a guest that was going to show up there and take questions or something. I don't know what was going to happen. We never really got to see. But, like, the one thing that's missing from it still is just the final completion of bringing community together and giving them that opportunity to like sit in a room and just talk about stuff. Because like my favorite local convention, I used to run 3 panels a year. It would be talking about all the games that came out that year, talking about all the anime that came out that year, and because I'm a fucking nerd on everything else, talking about wrestling that happened that year. And it would range between 20, 25 to in some cases 100 people in a room, and we're just talking. Like, sure, are people like me and people at the desk talking the most? Sure, but like by the time we get like a couple of things in, we're just going up, like somebody raises their hand, we go, yeah, what the hell you got to say? And it's just, it's just like 50 people shooting the breeze with each other. And that's the one thing that I think that's missing from it. And I think they're on the right path to get there. Because if they keep growing the way that they are, because it was busy in there by the time that we left. Because once the doors opened at around, I think it was around 11 that the general admissions were let in, and it started to get packed in there. So like they're still doing really good numbers, and hopefully, with the building that they've upgraded to, that that still means that there's generating the revenue that they need to keep growing and look potentially down the road of having, maybe they get like a cool voice actor in at some point or something, because most of the guests that they have are cosplayers, which I'm not saying is bad, but like unless you're way into the craft, you're not necessarily paying that much attention to that area. And it's not like EGLX where they would lean into the esports side either. So like they're still missing that, like, what's the big thing that you do? Because for the most part, it's still just the thing that I didn't like the last time we went, which is it's just a bunch of vendors. That's still kind of what it is, but it's getting a little bit away. It's not just that now. Mm-hmm. There's now a little bit more room where there's a much bigger arcade setup. There were way more TV set up to play just random games. Like Smash was there. Even like NHL PA 93 or something was there. Like they had a bunch of random little things on here and there.
Sonic
but then
was
also
there.
the indie developer side was like way more bigger than it used to be. So there actually was like a separation this time. So it did feel like there was a little bit more than just come here and spend money. Because that's not necessarily what I'm here for. Like if I wanted that, I'd go to a game swap.
Yeah.
Any other thoughts you got, Kayla?
No, I thought it was an awesome event. I think it was really cool. Nice balance of what they had. Like they had like an artist alley with a bunch of cool crafts and designs, which I bought some stuff. There was like game swap vendors kind of thing, which was really cool to see, like classic games.
Every time we go to one of those things, those shadow boxes are, I swear to God, one of these days I'm going to finally cave on one of those shadow boxes, but I keep managing to avoid it every time.
They're so good.
Because they're so cool.
But yeah, like there was the arcade, there was the indie section, there was like even an area where they were doing like board games that were just out to play. So honestly, it was a great event, and I really appreciated having the opportunity to go.
Yeah, it's fantastic. Anybody else got anything to add? Otherwise, I think we got what we need here.
Thank you guys for adding 8 games to my wish list. My backlog
No
appreciates
problem.
it.
But anyways, folks, that is going to do it for this week's episode. So thank you so much for checking us out this week. For anybody that's joined us, because, some people said they were going to check us out when we talked to them at the expo. So if you happen to make it to the end of this, sorry, but also welcome. Sorry they had to listen to me for more than the 5 or 10 minutes that it was at the expo. But otherwise, you all know the drill. If you're watching on YouTube, like the video, subscribe to the channel for more content. We're actually starting to have some, like, more than 1 or 2 a week growth now. Like, so this is actually kind of getting a little bit more interesting. So, hey, something's going right. So, hey, thank you to all the people that are new and joining us here. Obviously, you got our link tree, linktr.ee/PixelPlay Podcast, link to the Discord. Come hang out with us there. Link to our socials, including our TikTok. If you want to see our shorts there instead of YouTube, all that's fine stuff. You can go there as well. Otherwise, we will see you on the next episode. On Friday, Chris and I, we are doing our Final Fantasy run again now that he's back, and we are doing 12. And it's the last time that we speak really highly about Square before we're going to probably spend the last 2 episodes being like, and they screwed that up, and they screwed that up, and they screwed that up. Well, I mean, that was good, but they also screwed that up. But we're not there yet. So enjoy us talking about 12, a.k.a. the Star Wars of Final Fantasy. Maybe that's how we get Kaylan into it.
See, there it is. We got him.
But yeah, so look forward to that. Otherwise, we will see you on the next one. So take care wherever you may be. Bye-bye for now.